Hey guys, this is Troy with the Advanced Spine Joint Wellness Center. Hey, this week we're talking about scoliosis. So scoliosis is an abnormal curve of the spine. So stay tuned. I'm going to talk a little bit about the evaluation of scoliosis and some of the secondary things that occur that oftentimes cause pain. So scoliosis is an extremely common problem. Scoliosis can be mild, it can be moderate, or it can be severe. And on this model, as you can see, I've created a relatively moderate scoliosis, but a few things I want to point out that we're going to look at here with our pretend patient down here. So with the scoliosis, the spine isn't straight, and you can see there's this dramatic curve through here. But also a big part of scoliosis, which I'm going to talk a lot about today, is the pelvis. You see, the pelvis is kind of our foundation of the spine, and oftentimes with the scoliosis, the pelvis is tipped. And you'll see as I put this down on Dr. Corey here, if this is the way his spine looked underneath, now we can start to see that the pelvis, which is tipped right here, is part of this abnormal alignment issue through the spine. So what this oftentimes causes is just the curve itself can cause damage to the joints, and that can cause pain. That's the obvious. But what I want to talk about today is some of the soft tissues that are around the pelvis and lower back. So oftentimes what happens with these is when the pelvis tips or when there's an abnormal curve in the spine, we have muscles that like to run alongside the spine and alongside the pelvis, and that's our glutes and some other supportive muscles. But oftentimes what happens with this pelvic alignment being tipped in this curve is now we're creating some compensatory patterns with muscles, meaning they're behaving in ways that God didn't design them to do. And that in itself can begin to cause pain. So first we'll just start with some of the muscles down here in the pelvis. As we can see, this pelvis is tipped. It should be flat like this, but with a tipped pelvis, what this is going to do is it's going to create somewhat of a pseudo, meaning a false leg length discrepancy. So it's going to make this leg seem longer than the opposite side. So when this young man is up walking, moving, things like this, it's going to cause more stress through the glutes here, the biceps back here. So it even causes problems down into the foot. Now also, every joint that's in here, the hip, knee, and ankle can also develop problems. So what's going to happen is now we have this pseudo leg length discrepancy. This side of the body is taking more stress. We're oftentimes going to see pain over here in this little joint called the SI joint. And it's some of these surrounding structures that oftentimes are the pain generators with a scoliosis. So we see that in the lower extremities, then here in the mid-back area, in lower back area. When the spine is curved like this with this S-shaped curve, there are muscles that are alongside the spine as well, and they're designed to be straight up and down, these big, long muscles running top to bottom. But when we have this curve, that's going to make these muscles behave in ways they're not designed to work either. And oftentimes we see a lot of muscle pain through these areas as well. So when it comes to the evaluation and management of a scoliosis, our first thing is always to look at the structure underneath, the pelvis, the spine, and its alignment, but then also consider what secondary issues begin to occur from this significant alignment issue. So if you feel like you're dealing with this problem, maybe you're in chronic pain, mild, moderate, or it's just a nuisance, and you're getting tired of dealing with it, you can find more information by going to ohiopain.com. You can also contact us directly, 330-242-7669.